Hey guys, it's Timmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. As we're here on another Monday, it is the 14th of January, and in my opinion, I thought tonight's Monday Night Raw was actually not a bad show at all. I really enjoyed the show, unlike the last 2 or 3 months where most of the shows were kind of just meh. But with that, let's see who is here with us in the chat so far. We've got Noah Hall, Kristen McNutt, Austin Blankenship, Renee Cesari, sorry. We've got Henry McKenna Cavallo, Chris Gomez, Michael Stanberry. So what did you guys think of tonight's Raw? It was different. I will give them that. The way they presented the first half of the show or so, where they kept doing the live cuts to the back. And the one thing I didn't like was how many times we had to know that the movie Glass by M. Night Shyamalan is coming out this Friday. We get it. They're sponsoring your show. The movie comes out this Friday. You don't have to say it 66 times. But with that, I'm just going to start this off with talking about those Women's Tag Team Championships. We're just going to cut right to it. It was announced that on February 17th, inside the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas, they're going to crown the champions. The first ever Women's Tag Team Champions will be crowned inside the Elimination Chamber. Yes, inside the Elimination Chamber. We're going to get 3 teams from Raw and 3 teams from SmackDown. So that is pretty interesting. It's going to be 12 women inside this Elimination Chamber match. I don't know what the teams are going to be. This is going to be, like I said, in about a month's time, a little over a month, when this does take place. So whether they do some qualifying matches on each show, whether they do some sort of a just, hey, here's who we're picking kind of deal, all that's still up in the air. We don't know how they're going to determine who is going to enter the Elimination Chamber with a chance to walk out the first ever WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. And there's the other thing. It's not the Raw Women's Tag Team Champions. It's not the SmackDown Women's Tag Team Champions. It's the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. So it does make me believe that these titles, it's got to be. These titles are floating between both brands. We don't know if NXT and NXT UK is going to be involved in any way. I don't believe they would. But yeah, we finally got it. We got to look and see what those titles actually look like. Let me see if I can pull it up. WWE actually posted some in-depth photos of the actual Women's Tag Team Championships on their website. So let me pull those up for you guys in case you have not actually seen them. Exclusive in-depth photos. Got them right here. We'll look at these and then we'll go into what's taking place tonight on Monday night, or what happened tonight on Monday Night Raw. So as you see here, we've got the brand new Women's Tag Team Championships. I really like the design of this. I'm glad they didn't just do the same design as the men, but here's the thing. It is rumored that we're getting new men's tag team titles. So this could be the look of the new men's titles as well, as far as what those titles are going to look like. Because the rumor is we're getting new men's titles with detachable side plates. Now, we don't know if these side plates are going to be just specific to the single wrestler, the single superstar, or if they're going to be specific to the actual tag team, if the tag teams are going to get their own side plates. I would expect the WWE has new side plates made for each tag team that wins the titles because, hey, that's just more stuff they can sell to the consumer, to the fan. But with that, those are the brand new WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. They will be crowned inside the Elimination Chamber in Houston, Texas on February 17th. But now, let's get talking about some Monday Night Raw. So Monday Night Raw kicked off tonight with Braun Strowman coming out. He came out and basically talked about, Brock Lesnar. He was just like, Brock Lesnar, I know you're afraid of me. I know this and that and da 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 da. But then nothing. He was like, I know Brock's always afraid of me. I know Brock can't handle me and this and that. And then Corbin came out. Baron Corbin would come out and he would just talk about how when he was the general manager, things were better. Braun Strowman tried to start a "You got fired" chant. It kind of worked. And then in the end, basically, he just chased Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin ran throughout the building. Braun Strowman couldn't find him. He took one of the Singh brothers and threw him across catering. He would then walk up on Elias. Elias was playing a song and goes, he's in the limo. He sang it. I forget exactly what he sang, but he sang a song that ended with in the limo. So Braun went over to the limo, pulled the driver out, threw the driver over the front of the limo, tried to get into the back, but the door was locked. He would then grab a metal pipe or steel pipe, I don't know exactly which one it was, and he would bash in the window. You can see that Corbin was in there, and Corbin got out on the other side and ran off. Before Corbin did run off, though, Braun did pull the door off the hinges. Mr. McMahon would then appear and look very, very just pissed. We go to commercial, and we come back. Braun's playing he doesn't ever say it, but the "I'm sorry" card. It's like the big dumb oaf where, oopsie, I broke your toy, let me fix it. And he's trying to put the door back up on the limo. Like, really? It's not going to work like that, guy. But in the end, Vince just flips out and says, $100,000 fine. And Braun raises his voice and goes, what? That's for this piece of crap limo? And Vince goes, oh, you want to raise your voice? Well, how about at the Royal Rumble? You're no longer challenging Brock Lesnar. Vince walks off. Strowman just gets totally just pissed, I guess you could say, and he flips over the limousine. Yes, he flipped over the limousine. And that's how Monday Night Raw started. It was different. It wasn't no 20-minute talking segment in the ring. Strowman was out there for what? 5 minutes maybe before they did the stuff running through the back. I thought it was all right. So the announcers then were all shocked about how he flipped it over. After commercial break, they showed Corbin being escorted out of the building. No, Strowman, was escorted out of the building. Corbin was sitting there laughing. Renee Young then put the blame on Corbin, saying this was all Corbin's fault. If Corbin didn't instigate, none of this would have happened. Next up, we get Raw Women's Champion, Ronda Rousey, teaming up with Sasha Banks to take on the team of Nia Jax and Tamina in a good 10-minute match. I thought this match was all right. Before we get going, I got to read some Super Chat donations here. Kristen McNutt says, I love the new tag team titles. Jose Mbangu says, is this where Brock loses, now focuses UFC? I don't know. I honestly don't know, and I don't think so. I don't think that Brock's going to lose the title to Finn Balor. So going forward, Sasha Banks and Nia Jax started off this match. Nia wanted Ronda Rousey to start the match, but nope, Sasha wasn't having it. Sasha said, I'm starting this match. Banks eventually did tag in Rousey, who almost got Tamina in an armbar, and Jax pulled her out of the ring. They did a lot of stalling until Banks took out Jax with a double knee off the apron. They go to commercial break. When they come back, Jax had Banks in a bear hug. She countered that with a Hurricane Rana and to a power bomb. Jax applied a rest hold, and they did an inset promo for that movie Glass, which we got like 20 times. Probably not 20 times, but way too many times. I think within the first 30 minutes of the show, this is already the fourth time they've mentioned it, but this was the first time they showed like the commercial, the trailer for it. But Michael Cole over and over and over and over. Glass. It's something about superheroes. Everything you know about superheroes. This is real life. Glass. This Friday in theaters everywhere. Like, Come on. Nicholas with a $5 super chat donation. Nards. So Banks fought back and used her side rush and leg sweep into a crossface on Tamina for the submission victory. Rousey never got a hot tag, which was, okay. Excuse me. Cole reminded us that Banks had a dangerous submission just like Ronda does as well. Charlie Caruso then interviewed the victors after the match. Rousey said she's looking forward to facing Banks and beating her. She said this would be a great accomplishment for her. Banks got a little offended by this, stating, "Oh, you already pegged me as an accomplishment? That's it? I thought you respected me." Rousey said, No, I do, but I know that if I want to keep my championship, I'm going to have to make you tap out. Banks wasn't that satisfied. She said, I've got my submission of my own. Just like, she said, I got a submission of my own that I can make you tap out with. Rousey said that Banks could keep the title of being the world's classiest loser. Banks said that she wouldn't make Rousey tap at the Royal Rumble. Banks began to leave up the ramp, and Rousey chased after her. I don't know why. Banks then started yelling at her and was like, "Fine, just leave." So then we see Heath Slater, Rhino, Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel, Kurt Hawkins, Apollo Crews, and others outside Vince McMahon's office, and the announcers let us know that all these guys are trying to speak with Mr. McMahon because they want to get that shot at Brock Lesnar in the Universal Championship come the Royal Rumble. Jerry Lawler that came out of the office and got a pretty good pop because, they're in Memphis, his hometown, and then we saw the dancers of No Way Jose. Then somewhere in the back, we see Banks with Bayley and Natty with Ronda, and basically they're all yelling at each other. Bayley's trying to calm down Sasha, Natty's trying to calm down Ronda, and Rousey and Banks finally leave because Natty's just like, go to the locker room, calm down, I'll come talk to you. And Bayley kind of just said the same thing to Sasha, and Natty goes, this is all your friend's fault. And Bayley goes, wait, what? They started arguing on their friend's behalf, so the Riot Squad showed up. And they were laughing about the situation, and they were like, Bayley, looks like Sasha Banks got the better opportunity, and now she's just going to leave you behind. And then they said, if you guys can find a partner for later on tonight, we'll take you guys on in 6-woman tag team competition. And before Bayley could say anything, as Bayley was still looking mad at Natty, Natty just goes, we accept. So I assumed the partner would probably just end up being Ember Moon, but it wasn't. Next up, we got the Revival taking on Kalisto and Grand Metalik. And what did Corey... I gotta remember what Corey Graves said here. I didn't write it down. He said something along the lines of, here's our travesty segment of the week or something like that. He basically said that the Revival gets screwed every single week. So with that, before the match, Revival said the Lucha House Party would pay for doing nothing last week when they just stood there and watched as they got screwed. During the match, they did the split screen cut, and Dasha Fuentes was interviewing different superstars backstage as to why they thought they should challenge Brock Lesnar. Apollo Crews made his case. Then Hawkins said that he could beat the Beast. It would be the Beast versus the Streak. And then he goes, "You feel me?" She then interviewed EC3. He smiled and nodded a lot, and many people didn't even catch this. It was the Raw debut of EC3 in a nothing spot during a tag team match in an inset promo kind of deal. This was so bad for EC3. I mean, the others weren't much better either, except for Nikki Cross. We'll get to that. But yeah, EC3 basically made his Raw debut. We're going to talk more about the call-ups here in a minute when we get to the women's match. But basically, they finally finished all of that. We finally go back to the match, and then the match just ends after Scott Dawson gave Metalik a DDT, went for the cover. Metalik got to his feet. He got his foot on the ropes, but Dash Wilder pushed it off. Referee counted 3 anyways. So yes, Lucha House Party kind of got screwed, but they didn't, so hey, whatever. Nobody cares about the Raw Tag Team division much anyways. Dasha Fuentes was still backstage. all the people were still at Vince McMahon's office. Vince goes and walks out, and he just goes, I'm going to go to the ring, and I'm going to make an announcement. So after commercial break, Vince comes out, and he's all ready to make an announcement when John Cena interrupts. John Cena would interrupt and say that, he's done this for Vince before. When Vince needed somebody to stand up, when he needed someone to save the day, he was the one that was able to do that. Cena said Cena wouldn't get the chance. He then recalled a long time ago when everybody left Vince McMahon. Austin left. Rock left. Lesnar even left to go play football. Cena was the one that stood by and carried this company with ruthless aggression. Cena said that he got in McMahon's face before, and he's not going to step away this time. He's missed birthdays, weddings, funerals, but he wasn't complaining about any of that because he was doing what he loved. He asked McMahon for another chance because, unlike everybody else, he's got the ruthless aggression that can beat Brock Lesnar. McIntyre then interrupted. He said that he didn't care about John Cena and whatever John Cena was going to do next, whatever movie he was going to film, whatever book he was going to write. And he was just like, I don't care about your ruthless aggression. He told McMahon that he is what ruthless aggression really looks like. He said that Cena's time was up and his time is now. Good little pun off of Cena's theme song. He said just like Austin, Rock, and Lesnar, Cena can leave as well. Corbin would then interrupt. He hinted at possibly threatening legal action because of what happened earlier in the night and said that it would be for the best in everybody's, this would be the best for everybody. He was just given the match against Brock Lesnar. Balor would then finally come out and talk about how he's always left out of the conversation. He's always the underutilized guy. Vince McMahon doesn't believe in him. McMahon said maybe he would be the Universal Champion again one day, but there's a lot of beef out there. McMahon put over Balor as a great competitor, but he said, I'm not convinced. Balor said that we know McMahon hasn't always believed in him, but the fans always did. Fans cheered pretty loudly for that. Balor said that he would show McMahon, and then he attacked Corbin. He took out Corbin, and then McIntyre took out Cena. McIntyre then wiped out Balor with a Claymore kick, and McMahon said, fine, later on tonight, fatal four-way match, the winner goes on to the Royal Rumble. So after a commercial break, Jinder Mahal approached Vince McMahon and said, whoa, hey, Mr. McMahon, I'm a former WWE champion. Why was I not given the opportunity to fight for the opportunity to face Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble? And Vince goes, okay, why didn't you come out there then? And he says, I'm sorry, I was tending to Sunil Singh, who got pretty much just brutalized by Braun Strowman earlier. Vince said, okay, so how about you versus somebody in the Fatal 4-Way later, and you take their spot if you beat them? And Jinder goes, Finn Balor. So Mahal picks Finn Balor, and that match just takes place later. 6-woman tag team match. We got Bayley, Natty, and a partner of their choosing taking on the Riot Squad. And who would come out? Not Ember Moon as everybody expected, but Nikki Cross. Now, keep in mind, this is not Nikki Cross being put on the Raw brand. What Michael Cole said is over the next couple of weeks, we will see all the coming to the WWE superstars from NXT on both brands. They will be evaluated over the next couple of weeks, and then management will decide what brand they will permanently be placed on. So Nikki Cross paced around on the apron before tagging in to start the match. She then tried to take out all 3 members of the Riot Squad, which didn't work out that well. Natalya and Bayley made the save with baseball slides to the heels. Nikki Cross had crawled under the ring and reappeared to grab Ruby's leg. She then dragged her between the ring and the skirt and started just clubbing the crap out of her. After commercial break, the heels had the heat on Bayley. After a while, Natty did tag in and hit Sarah Logan with a dropkick. German suplex, discus clothesline, facebuster, but Ruby broke up a pin attempt. Bayley then took out Ruby. Liv Morgan tagged in, and gave Natalya Hurricane Rana. Nikki Cross would break up a pin. Cross then tagged in, and they did a heart attack with Natalya. Eventually, she used an elevated swinging neckbreaker on Liv Morgan and tagged in Bayley, who hit a flying elbow from the top for the win. They tried to do too much near the end, I felt, and the crowd kind of just was like, okay, is this ever going to end? Kind of deal. I did like it, though. Nikki Cross looked really, really good in this match, and she's going to be someone that's just going to get widely over with the crowd, the main roster crowd. We see Balor walking backstage, coming to the ring, and as we do, we see Lacey Evans just palling around backstage with, Dana Brooke and Mickie James. It's like, really? That's it? Okay, then. Dean Ambrose said that tonight was the old story of the old story of right versus wrong. Ambrose said that he was right all the time and everybody else was wrong. They all thought that he wouldn't be able to win the Intercontinental Championship, but tonight he was going to defend it against two guys. He thought it was especially wrong that he had to defend his title in Memphis. He said nobody, especially Rollins, would take this title. So let me get a almost 10-minute match between Jinder Mahal and Finn Balor. Mahal attacked Balor during his entrance. And yeah, there's not much more to talk about from this match. I thought this was an almost nothing match that went 10 minutes. Mahal and Balor were in a chinlock at one point, and the crowd chanted, "Let's go Balor." Balor came back using forearm strikes and a double foot stomp. He drop kicked Samir Singh off the apron, tossed Mahal to the outside, and wiped out both guys with a flip dive. Balor followed this up with a sling blade, running dropkick coup de grace for the victory. Finn keeps his spot in the Fatal 4-Way. During the match, Cole said that Balor has been working for 2 years or so to get another match for the Universal title. Lio Rush, in a backstage segment, said that it was time for others to suffer, and that included Ambrose and Rollins. He said Bobby Lashley was the champion we needed because he's a fighter, and he would become Intercontinental Champion whether we liked it or not. So let me get a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. Match went roughly 13 minutes. Before the match, Rollins told Charlie Caruso that his brother Roman Reigns had the courage to tell the world about his battle with leukemia, and he and Ambrose embraced that, telling him that he didn't have to have this fight alone. But Ambrose would go on to betray that embrace later on in the night, destroying a 6-year friendship. Except for over time in the last 6 years, they weren't always friends. I mean, Seth turned on the Shield. They fought in Hell in a Cell. They fought quite a few times, so I wouldn't say a full 6-year friendship. I'd say a friendship that dates back 6 years or so. He said some other stuff and then came down to the ring. Also prior to the match, Young complained about Bobby Lashley being added to this match. She was just like, what did Bobby Lashley do to earn an opportunity at the Intercontinental Championship? You want to talk about fair? And Corey Graves literally goes, oh, you're just mad because your hubby might lose his title. Your hubby may no longer be the champion after tonight. And I'm like, ooh, burn. You really went there. He really went there. There's also a funny moment when Cole read a new sponsor for Golden Crisps, and the ad included verbiage about their Sugar Bear mascot. Graves then asked if Renee's Sugar Bear could retain the title tonight, and then he chuckled. I chuckled as well. He's like, a Sugar Bear going to keep the title tonight? I loved it. Corey Graves was on his game tonight. So Ambrose and Rollins were both wore black pants again, just like they did last week. Like, hey, if you're against each other, try to differ. Going forward, Ambrose wanted to work with Rollins at the start. Rollins pretended to oblige and then tossed Ambrose out of the ring. Ambrose then formed a union with Lashley, or at least tried to. Rollins fought them off, but Lashley killed him with a spine buster, and Ambrose kicked Lashley out of the ring before trying to go for the pin. Rollins later nailed both with a suicide dive. Rush interfered, so Rollins chased him away. He then hit him with a spine buster, and this time on the outside. After a commercial break, Rollins and Ambrose worked together to take out Lashley. Initially, they seemed to be working together pretty good. They teamed up to clothesline him on the outside. Then they grabbed the steel steps and knocked down Lashley. Back in the ring, Ambrose and Rollins went at it though, trading fists and chops. Rollins hit a Falcon Arrow, but Rush broke up a pin cover. Rollins then chased Rush off. Then Ambrose inadvertently knocked Rush off the ring. Rollins super kicked Ambrose, and Lashley tossed Rollins from the ring, out of the ring to break up a near fall. Excuse me. Ambrose poked Lashley in the eye. Then Rollins took out Ambrose and followed with a frog splash on Lashley. Ambrose tossed Rollins from the ring and covered Lashley, but only got a 2 count. Rollins then went to the top, but Lashley got him on his shoulders. Ambrose clotheslined Rollins, but Rollins landed on his feet and hit a super kick to both men. However, Lio Rush dropped the top rope on Rollins, who fell out of the ring. Lashley then speared Ambrose with a huge spear for the victory. First time Lashley becomes Intercontinental Champion. Lashley was so pumped to win this title. Lio Rush was overjoyed. Lio Rush was really who Bobby Lashley needs to thank. Lio Rush broke up like 3 or 4 pin attempts and saved Lashley a couple times. But Lashley, brand new WWE Intercontinental Champion. Now, Lashley's been a champion before in WWE. He was a former ECW and United States champion, but he never actually won the Intercontinental title. Now, he did help Santino Marella win the Intercontinental Championship from Umaga on Santino's first night in the company. Well, on the main roster. Next up, we get a moment of bliss with special guest Paul Heyman. As we talked at the top of this show, Alexa Bliss started this off by announcing the brand new WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. She said the first champions will be decided inside the Elimination Chamber. She would then go on and introduce her guest for the night, Paul Heyman. Heyman ran down Lesnar's potential opponents. He said Suplex City was built on the Caracas of hustle, loyalty, and respect. He put over McIntyre and said that he would be Universal Champion one day, just not yet. He began talking about Corbin when Otis Dozovich randomly came out on the stage. He just started going, ah, 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 and Heyman was just looking at him like, what? Who the heck are you? And Bliss goes, excuse me, this is a moment of Bliss, not a moment of Otis. He rambled on a couple more moments. I'm like, is this really what they're going to do with Otis? Finally, Tucker Knight came out, apologized to Alexa, and then they just cut Alexa's segment. They was like, you're done. So yeah, Balor came out. So I was just like, what? A, they made the moment of bliss look like a nothing thing other than that. Like, why are you supposed to care about moment of bliss next week or the next time they do it? And B, Otis is just a bumbling buffoon? I don't understand that at all. So we get the main event, fatal 4-way match. John Cena, Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and Finn Balor. Winner would go on to challenge Brock Lesnar for the Universal title come the Royal Rumble. Match went in about 18-19 minutes. Corbin gave Balor a backbreaker, and they went to commercial about before the first minute of this match was even up. After a commercial, Cena gave McIntyre an AA, but Corbin barely broke up the cover. Balor and Cena then gave Corbin a suplex, a double-assisted suplex. With Corbin sitting on the top rope, Cena and Balor were going to double-team him again, but McIntyre powerbombed them off the ropes. McIntyre then flipped Corbin off the top rope. McIntyre set up the Claymore kick, and they went to commercial again. Back from the break, it turns out the match didn't end with the Claymore kick. Corbin gave Balor an end of days, but McIntyre broke up the pin. Cena came off the top turnbuckle. I think it was like the middle ropes or whatever. But McIntyre caught him and powerbombed him. McIntyre worked over Cena and Corbin worked over Balor. The babyfaces each made comebacks roughly at the same time. Balor went after Cena, hit a drop kick, and went to the top, but Cena fought him off and gave him an AA off the middle ropes. This made you think that Balor's done. Balor's out of it. Corbin then shoved Cena out of the ring and went for a cover, but Balor kicked out. Corbin grabbed the steel steps and nailed both Cena and McIntyre on the outside. Corbin then attacked Balor with a chair and went for a cover, but Cena broke it up. Cena dodged a chair shot and hit Corbin with an AA. McIntyre took out Cena with a Claymore kick, and then Balor took out McIntyre with a DDT out of nowhere. Balor then went to the top rope, and hit the coup de grace on the former 16-time world champion John Cena, pinning him 1-2-3 to become number one contender for the WWE Universal Championship. Now, after the match, when there was like 60 seconds left in the show, I think they actually did a 1 minute overrun here. Cena grabbed the mic and he said the McMahon may not believe in Balor, but the people do. And now you have one more person that also believes in you. He told Balor to give Lesnar hell at the Royal Rumble and shook his hand. The two hugged and raised their hand. The two hugged. Cena raised Balor's hand and they celebrated as the show went off the air. Well, that is everything that did take place tonight on Monday Night Raw. Now, I want to hear from you. If you guys do want to call into the show and give me your thoughts on anything that took place tonight on Raw, the Finn Balor becoming Universal Championship #1 contender, the Women's Tag Team Championships, Braun Strowman, the Intercontinental title match, you can do so by calling 559-475-8473. The number is in the live chat, 559-475-8473. Let me know your thoughts on what took place tonight on Monday Night Raw. And as we wait for some calls, we will check the chat and see what you guys are saying over there. So in the chat, excuse me. Let's see. Will Young says, I didn't understand the weirdness with Heavy Machinery either. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to be doing with them. That's so just random. Him to come out. I get it. Otis has got good, I guess you could say, comedic timing. But you don't need him to be just a bumbling idiot. Andrew Mendoza says, we see Lay Cole in the Rumble. I don't know if Layla wants to return at all or do anything. Anazi says, Raw does not have to be 3 hours long to be great with important stuff. They could just said Braun was injured during a live event. We didn't need the overproduced, overscripted bullshit. I mean, I thought it was okay. It actually gave a reason for them to be like, Braun's not, like, they don't have to say Braun's hurt. And that way Braun can come back at any time. They can just be like, Braun got kicked out. And maybe even this could do the thing of they didn't say Braun's hurt because maybe Braun's going to play a factor in that match come the Royal Rumble. Who knows? But let's take a call. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Yes. I have like a question.
Okay.
But who do you think like should win the first ever women's tag team champion?
That's a tough one because first off, we don't know exactly who's all going to be put together as women's tag teams. I would probably just say screw it and give it to Bayley and Sasha, but I think that's just too obvious to give them the first titles. Just like with the NXT UK brand. It was too obvious to give the first titles to Mustache Mountain. So maybe you need like, I don't know. It's a tough one I'm going to have to think about. Maybe Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Why not?
Another question.
Okay.
I know Sasha Banks is 4th time women's champion, but when I was watching Raw tonight, it looked like Sasha Banks was holding up the 4th horsewoman and Sancho's sign.
I mean,
it looked like to me.
I get what you're saying, but I mean, it's just she put 4 fingers up. It could have meant anything, to be honest. I don't think it meant 4 horsewomen. I think it really meant that she's the 4-time champion. So we'll see where this does lead to. I don't think it's going to lead to the horsewomen versus the horsewomen thing because right now the plan is to do Becky and Charlotte challenging Ronda at the Royal Rumble. So we'll see how it all does go down. But thank you for the call and have a great night.
Thank you.
And I meant Becky and Charlotte challenging Ronda at WrestleMania, not the Royal Rumble. Call, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim.
How's it going?
Doing good, sir. Hey, I got a big question to ask
Okay.
you from tonight's Monday Night Raw. If the question is there any spoilers on what happened with Braun Strowman?
Spoilers. Spoilers.
Like,
As what do you mean?
yeah, it's like you know how like you know he got the title match in Royal Rumble. I mean, is it because he was not cleared or?
I haven't heard, but that's what I would believe. News came out about maybe an hour before Raw that they were gonna do something that would change this match, and so that's what everyone was under the impression of, that most likely Braun Strowman is not cleared to compete come the Royal Rumble, so that is why they had to change the match. I don't see any other reason why they would change this match, but like I said, that hasn't been confirmed to me, but it's the only obvious reason of why they would do this.
Right. You know, I kept on thinking to myself, I'm like, wait a minute, I thought they've had everything set up and you know, but the only thing I could think of, like you just said, I think is because he hasn't been cleared completely.
Yeah, they were hopeful, because I mean, as of today, he was not cleared, and they were hopeful that he'd be cleared by Royal Rumble, so I just assume that they got word that no, he's not looking like he's going to be cleared.
Wow. Hey, and also, question, have they, talking about the Royal Rumble, I saw a little splice about Daniel Bryan was mentioning they're going to do a new entranceway for the Royal Rumble. Have you heard anything about that yet?
Yeah, we reported this on our website. What Daniel Bryan said, he did an interview with the local ABC News in Arizona, in Phoenix, kind of pumping up the Royal Rumble kind of deal. And what he said was there has been discussions of possibly having the wrestlers actually come out of the dugout, because they've never done the Royal Rumble. Now, I don't know if this would be just for the Rumble match or if this would be for the entire show, but he said that there was talks of them possibly having the wrestlers come out through the dugout. I think that's kind of cool. It's different. Awesome. Last time they ran a baseball field was WrestleMania 19 in Seattle at Safeco Field. The one I went
to.
Yeah. It's the last time.
That was actually my first WrestleMania.
Nice. And then they just had the regular, entrance. I know they had to do some weird things with the way the entrance ramp was shaped. It was straight, and then they had to angle it, because apparently you have to be very careful of the pitcher's mound. The pitcher's mound cannot be messed with at all.
Right.
And so they had to do some...
I just remember a long time ago, one of my cousins who I went with to WrestleMania 19, and I was asking him, I said, what the hell is up with the whole diagonal where the wrestlers came at? And I'm like, well, what are they trying to do? And they said, well, the pitcher's mound is pretty unbalanced, so they want to go around that.
Well, it's not even that. It's apparently, according to Bruce Pritchard on his podcast, he had stated when they talked about WrestleMania 19 that I guess to the baseball people or whatever, the pitcher's mound is sacred and it should not be messed with no matter what is going on in outside of baseball. Right. So they couldn't do anything to mess with it.
Yeah, and also, which was kind of weird, they actually had I don't know if there was a secret way of going into the locker room that way, but over at Safeco Field, they had the stageway on the back end of the stadium. I don't know if you ever noticed that or not. And it's just, I think that'd be kind of cool. Actually, I mean, I like to see them do something kind of neat for Royal Rumble myself, because I think that'd be kind of cool to come out of the dugout. Just do something different, because, doing the same old entrance like they've done over the years, you got to do something like that, like they do for WrestleMania.
Exactly.
I think that's, so, yeah, I just feel bad. And also, I remember it was a long time back, he was talking about that would be kind of cool if they can use the hot tub.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
That'd be an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could soak in the hot tub while you're watching wrestling. It'd be kind of awesome.
Yep.
So, but thank you, Tim, and you have a good night.
All right, have a great night. Thanks for the call. All right. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, what's good, Tim?
What's up?
Anyways, I got three things, and I'll be over your hair. First off, what is the update on Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane?
I think Kairi Sane is good. I believe she was at the last set of TV tapings. Dakota Kai, I haven't heard anything in the last about 2 weeks, but I did see a photo of her online where she's wearing a knee brace.
Yeah, well, like, check her Instagram or something.
Yeah.
Second of all, like where is Money in the Bank gonna like take place?
I don't know if they have announced that yet. As of right now, I don't think they have announced it.
On one more thing, then I'll be over your head.
Yeah.
When do you think Drew McIntyre could be Universal Champion?
I think there's a good chance that maybe later this year, maybe not towards WrestleMania or anything, maybe like around SummerSlam time, or maybe a little after SummerSlam, late summer, early fall maybe. I think he's poised to be the Universal Champion at some point. It's just a matter of time as far as what storylines they have in place and what storylines they want to actually keep in place.
Personally, for me, I think have Drew win and Money in the Bank, cash in that SummerSlam or something, and one more thing down, be over your head. When do you think Charlotte Flair is going to win the women's title back? And what do you think Johnny Gargano is going to become NXT champion?
All right, I want to say thank you for the call. Charlotte Flair winning that title back, I don't know. I don't think she's going to win it back anytime soon. Probably not going to be at WrestleMania. If they do the women's triple threat at WrestleMania, I think either Becky or Ronda will go over in that match. Charlotte's just going to be there so she can say that she's been in the first, if they do put it in the main event, the first women's main event. As far as Johnny Gargano, like I've been saying for a while now, I think Gargano beats Ciampa for that title WrestleMania weekend. His redemption story. He was screwed by Ciampa over and over again. Couldn't beat him even when the title was or was not on the line. And then finally, come WrestleMania weekend, NXT TakeOver New York in the Barclays Center, he gets that win. I think also we're going to see some stuff where Ciampa tries to help Gargano win the North American Championship so he can't challenge Ciampa anymore. So I think he wins it at WrestleMania weekend. Let's take another call. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Oh, hey, Tim. How's it going?
Pretty good. Yourself?
How's it going? Having a wonderful night?
Yeah.
How'd you feel about Raw and just entirely? Because honestly, it felt like they're trying to change, and yet they do, you see my language, with BS to make sure, like, oh, you're watching Raw, so you might as well not even waste your time. So honestly, I think it could have got better, but at least they're trying to make a change. I'm glad they actually won the title.
Right.
And Finn Balor deserves the credit he deserves. And poor Brock, but EC3. And did Lacey Evans really debut? I hope she did. I kind of tuned out.
She was backstage. Literally, Finn Balor was walking backstage, and you saw her just standing there talking to Dana Brooke and Mickie James.
Yeah. Well, that's not really the thumbs up on that. But how'd you feel about Raw entirely?
I liked Raw.
For me, it could have got better.
I liked it better than most weeks, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird, though. I felt like the first half of the show, they tried to do stuff differently with the way the show seemed formatted. And then the second half of the show was still better than most weeks, but kind of felt like the normal Raw, if that makes sense.
I understand completely what you're talking about. Like, I understand completely. Like, I'm trying to like it again, but they just do BS like stuff to make you turn it off. Is there officially, like, do we know what's gonna happen next week or no?
They haven't announced or said anything for next week's show.
All right. Okay. So thank you, Tim. Thank you for your time. Thank you again for calling me.
Thanks for the call.
Have a wonderful night.
You too. All right. Let's take a couple more calls here. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hi. I enjoyed Raw tonight, and it was pretty good. But I just wanted to know, like, how you think this is going to play out? Because do you think Finn is going to win against Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble? And, like, I mean, like, how is this going to go?
I don't think Finn's going to win. I think Finn's going to go in there. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if the match is going to be competitive. I don't know if Brock's just going to destroy Finn. I think they're going to do their whole, hey, we gave Finn the opportunity the fans wanted and they lost. I honestly think that it's still going to come down to Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for the title. So either way, Brock's not going to lose that title. Because everything I was hearing, Brock wasn't going to lose to Braun Strowman either. So
yeah, it's like, because like it's all these people, and it's like, how is it going to go? Because it's like, you're right. I do think Finn is probably going to lose, because you got to think like who's going to come out the Royal Rumble. But it's like I'm hearing more people thinking a Raw superstar is going to win the Royal Rumble, but what about a SmackDown superstar winning the Royal Rumble?
SmackDown Superstars won the Rumble the last 2 years, so we got to change it up.
That makes sense.
Plus, I've been saying for the last 3 months, I think it's going to be Seth. I think they've been pushing Seth in the right way to build him up to a big match at WrestleMania, and you start that with winning the Royal Rumble.
Exactly. I think it's going to be either Drew or Seth. As in, like what the other caller said, one person wins that Money in the Bank. He said Drew, but I think it could be either or. But at the same time, I think if they want to capitalize on Finn Balor, finally becoming Universal Champion again, I was thinking maybe what if they do the same thing they did with Daniel Bryan with the whole, triumphant story WrestleMania moment, But I'm like, how is that going to go? It can't really go like that because they having him go against Brock at Royal Rumble now. So,
now, just to your point there, just because he's facing Brock at the Royal Rumble doesn't mean he still can't come out later in the Royal Rumble. But I do, honestly think that it's going to be Seth Rollins winning at the Royal Rumble.
Exactly. They can push Finn, but they can't push him that much to where, okay, you got a match and you're going to be in the Royal Rumble.
Right.
You also got to think about Seth. You can't leave Seth behind because, he's supposed to be the man, the guy, since Braun Strowman has basically faded away. It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah, I want to say thank you for the call and have a great night. To his point about, Braun Strowman kind of fading away, I do believe that the popularity of Braun Strowman really isn't what it was maybe a year ago. And I think that all really started to go downhill with the WrestleMania stuff, with the whole, I'm going to find a tag team partner and I'm going to go win the tag team titles, and then I got a little kid as my partner. And that's really when I noticed fans just started not really caring as much for Braun Strowman. But with that, I do want to say thank you for joining me here tonight on the Monday Night Raw review. We'll be live again tomorrow night following SmackDown Live. You can follow us right here on YouTube, Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Right on Twitter at PWUnlimited and at our website, PWUnlimited.net. You can follow me at Timmy Buddy. And as people ask, why don't we cover MMA? Because I don't know enough about MMA to cover MMA. But if you need a place for all the MMA news, go check out Fightful, Fightful.com. You can follow them on social media, Fightful Online, Fightful MMA, and Fightful Wrestling. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.